TIL Italian speakers with dyslexia tend to have less severe reading impairment than English or French speakers due to Italian's simpler and more phonetic spelling. I'm Italian and I had a dyslexic classmate in middle school. French was hell for him, bless his soul. Edit, he didn't actually die. Also TIL bless his soul and poor soul don't mean the same thing. Before I start reading, I want to ask if this also applies to Spanish. Their phonetics are a lot more consistent compared to English, in my opinion. Pretty sure it applies to Spanish as well. Despite being a very avid reader, I didn't know I had dyslexia until I started learning English. Makes me wonder about dyslexia in Chinese. Are the characters just out of order? My son has entered the chat. And me until one day I just could read. It was weird. I am a native English speaker, but English class was always really difficult for me. Once I started learning Spanish, the vocabulary structure, the breakdown, and what it meant to conjugate verbs, helped me understand English better. If I hadn't have taken Spanish class, I probably would have failed English class. I wonder how German and English compare. Growing up bilingual and dyslexic, English felt easier for me. But I constantly have Germans telling me how much better German is because of all the weird ways sentences are given structure, like gendered articles and capitalizing nouns. Umlauts are easy enough though. Part of it may have been writing style as well. Erörterungen are so tedious to read and write. Instead of starting with your main subject matter and a thesis sentence, you are supposed to start broad and then funnel into your main point. Just felt like really tedious looping around for no reason. The literature we had to read in German was also usually just depressing war and post-war stories. We focused a massive amount on the genre of rubble literature. The English books were usually more entertaining, to be honest. Ancora una volta davanti alla Francia, po 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 po. Finnish is so regular in its pronunciation that two identical letters next to each other makes the same sound, but longer. Unfortunately, this also changes the meaning. Native speakers have no trouble hearing the difference, but the rest of us have more trouble. I accidentally called my host Dad Toilet, Vesa, instead of his real name Vesa. Deleted. Let's all start spelling English words more phonetically. I think people would have an easier time learning the language, although, older English speakers will have to get used to the crazy new spellings. When my dad told me that words aren't spelled how they sound in response to my low spelling grades as a kid, I should have told him, well, maybe I'm not the problem, but the language sure is. Phonemic. A phonetic spelling system would be exhausting. I always remember my dad, who was raised in Germany, talking about how crazy the English language is. He thought silent letters were the worst thing ever and made a point to say the silent letters aloud, because in the German language you pronounce every letter. The German words might be insanely long, but you pronounce every letter of it. A detail I've noticed when I came to live to England as a Spaniard is the amount of dyslexic people in this island. French is a goddamn nightmare for pronunciation. Why do they insist on not saying the entire word? Korean is considered a relatively easy language to learn and seems highly phonetic as well. I wonder if it's the same. As a dyslexic English speaker, I've always wondered if I had a different native language how that would affect my disability and if language itself could change the overall intelligence of a person. Like we all know, the best scientists during WW2 were German, and I wonder if the German language played a key role in that coming about. I'm a Finn, and I'd say, Finnish language is perhaps even more phonemic than Italy. This is why Finnish children learn to read and write fastest in the world. For me it was frustrating to learn English, as I am mildly dyslexic. Even still, I tend to write words as they loud be pronounced, and I need to check with Google Translate the correct English spelling. It's ridiculous how English alphabets work, like Commonwealth, you don't pronounce it ei, you say AAA, like alpha. I don't even want to go further with the alphabets. Someone needs to reform the language. I literally just wrote half of my midterm on this. That's so cool. I hate the letter C. There. I said it. Is it an S? Is it a C? OT, maybe it's a fucking K? Who fucking knows, because we have loads of rules. And ch/th/sh, what is with that? And why minute and minuet? What's with that? Why isuf? Why? This has been your dyslexic rant. I am a speech therapist and wholeheartedly believe the world would be a better place if everyone just used the International Phonetic Alphabet. Or even if we used the regular alphabet, but put lines over vowels like they do in elementary school to show if they're short or long. Honestly, if vowels were fixed, the English language would be so much easier to read. Also, my hot take, Q should not exist. It always has to be followed by AU anyways, so why not just spell it phonetically KW and have done with it? English is just so ridiculous. Same could be said for Spanish speakers then. I believe we have Dante, he of the Inferno, to thank for this. Italy existed a series of city-states, each with their own dialect, and he combined them all into a single language, Italian. Because it was constructed, rather than the result of organic growth, it is much more consistent. Probably applies to Spanish speakers too. My first language is Italian, I had nearly zero problems studying German. I thought I was just slow at reading and that's it. Then I started studying English seriously and that's when I discovered I'm dyslexic lol. I learned English treating the words as ideograms, to every set of letters corresponds a sound, and multiple sounds can be associated to the same set of letters. Like, I cannot read Q letter by letter, as if I were reading Ch. It's a lot of work though. As much as I would like to learn Japanese, I feel like that might be an impossible task even for my mildly dyslexic brain. How do you recognize a dyslexic Italian? They're all left-handed. And the muscle memory of language in their hands. Much easier to SI. They make up for simple spelling with fucked up grammar though. Source, spent a year attempting to learn Italian. Koreans with dyslexia also have far fewer problems because the script, Hangul, was created to be as phonetically accurate as possible in the 15th century. Korea also has the highest literacy rate in the world, last time I checked. By the way, tomorrow is Hangul Day in Korea, a national holiday. We might be the only country in the world with a national holiday dedicated to our writing system. Thank you King Sejong, or the genius who was tasked with creating Hangul in your name. Some basics about Hangul. https://www. Britannica.com/topic/Hangul Korean alphabet. Hangul, Korean, Great Script, also spelled Hangul or Hangul, alphabetic system used for writing the Korean language. The system, known as Choson Muncha in North Korea, consists of 24 letters, originally 28, including 14 consonants and 10 vowels. The consonant characters are formed with curved or angled lines. The vowels are composed of vertical or horizontal straight lines together with short lines on either side of the main line. There is no such thing as dyslexia in languages in which each letter symbol or a specific group represents exactly on sound. English is like Wild West. Everybody speaks it and everybody sucks at it. Weirdly, I have a Greek friend. Greek is a complicated but phonetic language, who sucks ass at spelling in Greek but is good at spelling in English. With no rules and all the rules at the same time, but if you use too many rules you've gone back to gibberish. Like Dungeons and Dragons. I wonder what it would be like to have dyslexia in China. That and the fact that they do half their talking through hand gestures. American with dyslexia. I can read code without a problem. But an email. Is this a joke?